name is James Okumu. It is 5 minutes after 7. Shortly, we will be getting into Parenting Tuesday. As I said earlier, every Tuesday we have discussions to help us become better parents and to share some of the challenges we experience as parents. So that's coming up shortly, and today we'll be looking at sibling rivalry. But before we get into that this morning, I get the opportunity to hang out for a few minutes with the General Manager, Family Media. Ken Masiolo is here with me this morning. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Karibu sana.
I am impressed to be here with
you. Leon, I said you have to wake up early to be here.
I've been waking up all my life.
One of the challenges we've been experiencing, and our listeners and our viewers have also been telling us, is they can't find our TV signal. You know, what's been happening?
There are technical issues that always once in a while crop up.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're working with the machines, it's expected that sometime a machine will fail. You are driving home, you have a puncture. You have to change that wheel. You are in the night driving your car, your bulb, your headlight goes off. Mm-hmm. You have to struggle your way through the night to go. So it's the same thing that happens even with us in broadcasting.
Okay.
And so we have had a bit of, there was an issue with the transmitter from Pang, who have been transmitting our signal. And so because that transmitter could not handle the channels that our channel, they had to change us and put us onto a new transmitter. Okay. And that means that new transmitter has a totally new frequency. And so that's why our people who are used to receiving us could not be able to receive us anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for them? What do they need to do?
So first of all, for you to be now able to receive us on Pang, you have to scan again your TV.
Okay.
Now, last week I was on behind the scenes, and what I explained is that the current new TVs that we're using, even the old ones, you first of all have to download the information, have it in your mind before you can. It's like a human being.
Yeah.
So you get that information and then you give it out. So if the TV does not know that there is something in the air, it will not give you that thing until you tell it, search, find out if there is anything else that is new on the airwaves. Put it in your memory so that when I ask you, you can give it to me.
Yes.
So that's exactly what they need to do. And that's what the scanning actually does. So when they scan, it brings them, and then when they now can go onto the TV, they'll be able to receive the channel.
Yeah, because I think last week, and even mostly last week, I got several people who were asking, we can't find you anymore, what's happening? You know, somebody can think, kwani family lifungo? Yeah,
I know, and I know because we are here because of them, and they support us every day. They give whatever they have to keep us on.
Yeah. But
one of the other things that we can, because we have made sure that we have quite a lot of channels, avenues where people can be able to receive Family TV. And one of them is that you can go online. You can go onto our website and you'll be able to watch Family TV, or you can also download the app, which is both available for the iOS as well as the Android users. So once you have that app, we stream continuously, day and night. You can be able to watch Family TV there. Now,
what about radio? Can you also get radio?
Even radio is available on online as well as on the app. The other option is you can also get our satellite dish, which we have here, because we are on satellite and the satellite is free to air. So, and I think probably one of the most permanent ways you can be able to receive Family TV without having any issues is through satellite. Because that one comes straight, even wherever you are, whether it's on top of the mountain or the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You will be able to receive Family TV on satellite.
Okay.
That we don't have a transmitter that will fail for that. And in fact, that satellite is what feeds the transmitters that we have. So if you go to the source itself, you cannot fail.
Okay. If somebody wants to get that satellite, what do they need to do? How much does it cost?
The satellite, the whole kit, that's the dish, the LNB, and the cable that we put 15 feet of cable for it, is 5,000 shillings.
Okay.
And you have it, and you enjoy Family
Once
Media
and
forever.
For all.
Yes.
I think that's a good option. That's a good option.
Yeah.
And I think the app is also a wonderful option because we live in a world today where we are always on our phones.
Yes.
We are always online. And to imagine that you can have Family Media with you wherever you go as long as you're connected to the internet, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But on the app, it's not just the live broadcast. There's something else on the app. Maybe you can tell our viewers concerning that.
There is a lot of all the other shows that we have done that you might have not watched. Going to years back, they're also available on the app.
Yes.
And we have also made it so easy for you to be able to share the app with other people. so that you don't enjoy the good news all by yourself.
Yeah.
If you find it hard to talk to your brother or your sister,
yes,
or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you share the app, and then they will
talk to them on your behalf.
Yes. Then James can be able to tell them, hey, Jesus loves you.
Yes.
So that is the most important thing about the app.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I think just thinking about what we do and the feedback that we get, I think this is a very, very important information. Just the other day, somebody was saying on YouTube, on one of the other stations, that their lives changed because they used to watch family at night. They were in a Muslim environment, but they used to sneak at night and watch family, and their life has changed. So for me, what we are doing is eternal.
Yeah, that's the beauty of media, because we actually are able to get into places where you would not physically be able to go, probably, and come back alive.
Very true.
Yes,
very true.
So and both on live, as on terrestrial, whether be it on TV or radio or online. Because I hear sometimes you talk to people in China, Afghanistan, I don't know.
Roy is listening from China.
Countries that I've never even, some of the names I cannot be able to pronounce.
Yeah.
But there are people there who are watching us because of the power of the online. That's the app and the online streaming of our radio and TV.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So, my friend, do us a favor, tell a friend this information. You have to scan again, and you will get us. Our frequency has changed, but we haven't gone anywhere. We're still there. Some people have been asking why we left Signet. Are we ever making plans to go back to Signet?
Yeah. Because of the technical issues that we experience every now and then, having one delivery channel is not enough. And that is why, even though we have all of these other platforms, we still are thinking that there are some pockets where people might not be able to receive us, and so that's why in Nairobi we are working on it actually.
Okay.
Probably within the next this week or next week, we should have our signal again delivered through Signet in Nairobi.
Okay.
So that if you are in a place where you cannot receive Pang, you'll be able to receive Signet.
You have an option.
And if you are in a place where you cannot be able to receive Signet, you'll still receive Pang.
Okay.
But now the only thing is that we really have to spend a bit.
Oh yeah.
To make sure that is realized. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So, my friend, keep supporting this ministry because lives are being changed. M-Pesa pay bill number is 316. Account name is TBN Family Media. Whatever you can send our way, as you can see, we will put it to good use. So share this information with your friends and your family whom you know watch Family Media, that they may continue to get the signal. In the next short while, we get into Parenting Tuesday, talking about sibling rivalry. So as that is coming up next, let's listen. And the other day I was part of a conversation. This person was saying, you know what, even issues of corruption begin in the house. So the house, the home, the family unit is the basic unit in society, and if we don't get it right within the family, then what we export out here becomes something that will not work for the greater good of the community. And so today we want to understand, what is sibling rivalry, how does it happen, and what are the causes, and how can we manage it? I've got two amazing ladies joining me in studio today via Zoom. We have got Beatrice Sogutu, who is our parenting coach. Beatrice, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. Good morning, Pastor Jay.
Good morning.
Happy to be here today to talk about this very interesting topic.
Awesome. Good to have you on the show this morning. We also have a family therapist focusing on children and teenagers, Marion Keinama. How are you doing?
I'm good, James. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Karibu sana.
Everyone else.
Karibu sana. I'm excited to host both of you. I'll begin by you, Marion. When we talk about sibling rivalry, what is sibling rivalry?
Okay. Sibling rivalry is a relationship between brother-sister, or between brother-brother or sister-sister, that has gone wrong. It's no longer healthy. That's just simply what it is. And it's not a bad thing. Some people take it like it's a very bad thing, but really it's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing, because as you say, that is where, in families, where people start learning many things, like how to be with each other. And if I can add one more thing, children are together all the time. The siblings are together all the time, more than they are with their parents.
Very true.
And so they have to learn how to be together in a healthy way. Thank you.
I'm just wondering, Beatrice, does how we parent, our parenting style or our parenting perspective, could it flare up sibling rivalry?
Yes, definitely. So as Marion has said, it's a relationship between the children, the siblings in the home, and the role of parents in raising these children play a critical role. And parents can really fuel the rivalry that we experience within families. And some of the causes could be that, comparisons, when parents make comparisons, when parents play favorites, when children feel there is unequal treatment, an equal love, and equal discipline strategies being employed. So some of these are, the responsibility of parents. So how they treat the differences within the children, how they share the family resources, whether it's love, whether it's attention, whether it's possessions, can really play a big role in terms of either fueling sibling rivalry or managing when it escalates beyond. Remember, Marion has said some of this is normal. When people are in the same space, then you expect that there could be some tensions as people try to assert themselves, express themselves, and find their own identity. So yes, families or parents can be able to fuel.
In fact, on that issue of asserting yourself, I read something that said that, the position with which we are born in a family can also fuel sibling rivalry. Inasemekana ma firstborn wanajionaga hao ndio wanajua sana because they came first, and so when dad and mom are not there, they're the ones who want to be the boss. But I'm thinking, dude, you're just a brother like me, so I don't know what you have to say about that, Marion.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation, Pastor James. And it's true, sibling rivalry can be occasioned by the birth order. Now, a firstborn did not make a mistake by becoming a firstborn. They're just a firstborn,
yes.
Lastborn did not make a mistake by becoming a lastborn. They're just a lastborn. But why should there be rivalry between the two? For example, a firstborn usually has responsibilities. They come into this world and suddenly they become like parent. They're given the role of parenting. And without realizing, they're just being who they are. But then the other people that have been born later start maybe getting jealous even that, yeye ndio anapewa ruhusa, to do this or that, and the others are wondering, I'm here, what am I supposed to be doing? Does it mean that I can't do anything? And because of that perception of does it mean I can't do anything, or she or he is better than me, always being trusted with things, then the younger one can feel jealous of the older one, or the older one can start neglecting the younger
one,
and no time for them, it's just commanding them, do this, do that. If you don't do this, I will report you. And those things can just start, something that if it is not managed, it can become really bad. And if the conflicts are not managed in the family, then what kind of society do you expect out there? Yeah, thank you.
I sometimes see this issue with kids, and I was sharing this with a friend of mine when they were expecting their second child. And I was telling them, hey, you wait for this child to come. That firstborn, he will want to protect his stuff. And for sure, when the secondborn came, the firstborn anajua, wewe ni wa mama, mimi ni wa baba. When the father is trying to lift up the other child, the firstborn is thinking like, no. That's not my space. And so what would you say concerning that when the children are still young? Is that a cause for a parent to be alarmed, or is it something natural that they eventually grow out of?
This is common, Jay. I think it is good to prepare children for the second child, for the older sibling to feel space. The moment you feel that your space is being taken, your love is being taken away from you, or you will share it with any other person, then it becomes quite frustrating for a young child. So for as soon as you're preparing for your second baby, you need to prepare your older one, that there's somebody else who's going to come along, and this is how we are going to work it out between the parents themselves. They need to know how they're going to share and divide their time, their attention, and how they're going to involve the young one in the, in supporting them in raising up this new child. Because then we have had those many stories around atenda afunike mtoto, ama mpatie kitu. We've had all those stories, but because they feel naturally that their space is being taken away, and if parents are not able to manage that, then it can actually escalate. So from the age of 2 years and above, we need to help children, prepare them and help them regulate emotions around starting to share love, attention, and parents need to be conscious of the fact that they need to organize themselves a bit differently to ensure everybody gets undivided attention.
Marion, you said earlier that it's not necessarily a bad thing, sibling rivalry. Just tell us the good side of it, because it sometimes is hard to see the good side of sibling rivalry.
Okay. One, it's good because it means that the child that is maybe trying to assert themselves knows they are different from the other one.
Okay.
So they are just simply self-expressing, like, hey, something is different here. We are not the same. And I require this kind of attention that I'm not getting. So it is good in that way. It is also good because it's an opportunity, a great opportunity to teach, for the parents to teach. Because what happens to one child or to a parent will affect the whole family. It's a system. The whole family system will be affected.
Yeah.
So this is a very good time to have intentional family conversations. Like, let's talk about this. Okay, so we have a baby coming along the way. How are you going to love them? How are you going to take care of them? And we are here for you, So it's an opportunity to teach life skills, actually. How do you manage conflict? How do you ask for what you want in a nice way without punishing the other person? So it's a very good opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, at what point, Marion, should a parent start getting concerned? Because, even when I think back to my growing up, sibling rivalry was there. You feel like your older brother is taking advantage of you. Kwanza my older brother and my cousin, they used to finish food for me because my mom would serve food for all of us because I was a slow eater when I was younger. And my mom would serve food for 3 boys in one plate. And me, before I count the flies and the mosquitoes on the wall, these guys have finished the food. Na hakuna ingine, it's done. We are done. So I learned to eat very quickly. And I think from my size, you can tell I learned well. And so I know these things happen, but at what point does a parent look at this and think, okay, this is getting out of hand, we need help?
Okay, now that's a very good question. And it's important for parents to be able to differentiate abuse from just conflict, Yeah, now when it's abuse, okay, let me say sibling rivalry, first of all, is obvious to everyone.
Yeah.
It's not a hidden thing. The parents can see James amemaliziwa chakula. So what can they do? But then if it's an everyday thing, James anamaliziwa chakula, then that is not fair, So there is need to have that conversation of kindness and being mindful of the other person and knowing that we are different. James anakula pole pole, Beatrice anakula haraka, So can we be fair to each other, So differentiate whether it's abuse. And abuse usually is kind of secretive. You may not know that there is abuse going on. It could be physical abuse. It could be emotional abuse. It could even be sexual abuse. We've heard of siblings that sexually abuse each other or sexually introduce each other to sex, So it's important to be alert when things are getting out of hand so that you can address. But then you cannot be alert, you cannot notice unless you're very observant. And parents have a lot of, they are also going through a lot. They have a lot of stress. They are providing for this family and all that. So it's important for a parent to take time and be with each child, find out how are you doing, what are the challenges you're going through, then have that family conversation together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Beatrice, for a parent who discovers that one child is a bully towards the other, what can you do?
Thank you, Jay, for that question. As Marion has said, I think allowing family members to sit down and express feelings and express frustrations is quite important. So being available as a parent and noticing that is a good thing, because that means you're present and available. So it's also good to support children to express sympathy, for example. So you put them in the other person's shoes. So if this was happening to you, what would you feel? If it's somebody who has been bullying you, taking your food, taking your toys, taking some of your personal possessions, how would you feel? So teaching children to express themselves, to express empathy with each other, putting them in the situation of the other is quite important, and calling out some of these things when they're happening. Setting family rules and following those consistently is very important. So in this house, we respect each other, we respect each other's property, and when that is not done, there is this consequence. So making those rules very clear, putting the other child who's bullying in the shoes of the other, for them to be able to express, empathy with each other and be in that person's shoe is quite important. But setting that structure and limits of behavior really helps, and following through on the consequences is quite important, so that people know this is not acceptable in this house. Yes.
I'm wondering how you deal with personalities, because every child comes with their own personality, and you have children who their personality is they like pranks. They want to prank everybody, and then there's the other one who it really gets on their nerve. These pranks you keep pulling, they really get on my nerve. I don't like them. But the other one is thinking, we are just having fun. It's just a joke, and they do silly things around the house. But you can tell pressure is mounting between these two children of mine. I'm just wondering, Marion, how do you deal with such cases? Because the personalities are so different. They're looking at things from a very different perspective. How do you help them to find balance?
Yeah, right. It's very important for the parent to, again, the solution to a lot of what we say today is deliberate, intentional family conversations. Like, this is the way I am, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is how I want to be treated, because the children are different. And when they're young, and even at adolescence, they may not understand personality issues,
Yeah.
So it's about helping them to realize that we are different and therefore have boundaries, everybody needs their space, we cannot always be all over each other and insisting that you must be like me, because there is no way that you will be like me. So what are the limitations of our spaces, So teaching them about boundaries and how to communicate about what is hurting them. For example, I don't like to play if that's the way the child is, and the other one is I want to play. So when can we play together, and when can I just let you be, and what do I prefer instead? If everybody expresses what they like and don't like, then the family can come to a solution, having family rules and boundaries and respecting those boundaries, and also learning that the fact that I don't like to play with you does not mean that I don't want or I don't like you.
Yeah.
Because then the other person who is being omitted out of anything is feeling like worthless, their self-esteem starts to go down, So they need to understand that they're just different, is the way I like things. But at the same time, the parent has a role to help them just learn, okay, how can we be together regardless of our differences? Because that will happen even at the workplace, it will happen out there when they get out of the house, it will happen at school. So how can we be together even though we are different? Very important to teach them that.
Okay.
And help them navigate that. Yeah.
Beatrice, I want to take you to the Bible. I think the Bible has got some very good examples of sibling rivalry. Of course, the first one is Cain and his brother Abel, and death, came into the family because of that. But I want to take you to Jacob and his brother. And their sibling rivalry was fueled because the father loved one more than the other. The mother loved another one more than the other. And sometimes I see a tendency in that in our families based on how we name our children. And so, because my firstborn son is named after my dad, hata namuitaga dadi, that one becomes the favorite. My second son is named after my wife's dad. Huyo ni wakando kidogo. Huyu ndio dadi. This is now dadi. And my wife is thinking, yes, hata mimi huyu ni dadi. So my wife favors the child named after her father. I favor the child named after my father. What damage does that do to a family?
It does a lot of damage, Pastor Jay. I think the story of Jacob and Esau is a classic example where different parents, the mother loved Esau more, and Jacob. Then Jacob, of course, was also favored on the other side. And this caused a lot of animosity between these two brothers. And parents playing sides has caused a lot of rifts in families even today. And it's important, therefore, for parents to play as a team, together as a team, to raise their children, celebrate the differences, appreciate the individuality of each particular child, and be aware of some of these things and the consequences or the risks that are associated with favoritism or perceived favoritism. Because we even look at the story of Joseph and his brothers. His brothers perceived that he's being loved more, when his father made the beautiful coat, gave it to him, and that led to his brothers selling him into slavery, So some of these aspects parents could do unconsciously or consciously, but they're very damaging and they can go well into adulthood. Looking at the story of Cain, where, he ended up killing his brother. And we have seen also these issues happening today, even when parents pass on, siblings fight together, they disinherit each other. Some even go to the extent of, killing each other. So the ability of parents and the burden and responsibility of parents to ensure harmony, family harmony, and to celebrate individuality, differences in the home, and to work together as a team is quite important. Playing favorites is quite risky. We need to lose the labels. This is the smart one in the family. What that tells the other one is that you guys are not smart. So I think you can catch children and praise them when they're doing good, avoid comparisons, avoid favorites. Their parents even voice and say, this one is better, depending on the temperament of the child. Some children are easy, some are quite challenging, but those differences are quite important to acknowledge and not voice and loud out. I mean, we are humans, we could be biased that there is a favorite, but we don't have to voices, we don't have to show it in how we share our love, our attention. So if parents are conscious of what are the damaging effects of loudly comparing, having favorites, not working together as a team, it can be quite damaging right into adulthood. And we have seen the long-lasting effects of this.
Okay. Talking about adulthood, we'll talk about this shortly. Marion, how do you handle the situation where now, it's easy to handle them when they're kids. It's easy to call them together and to give direction and to give instruction. But once they get into their teenagehood, advancing into becoming young adults, they are making their own decisions. They're seeing life in their own perspective. But this rivalry is raging on. What can a parent do? When the children who are young adults or late into teens are still having this rivalry and it's boiling and it's affecting the whole family, what do you do? We'll talk about that shortly. If you have any thoughts for us or questions, or maybe you don't talk to your brother and sister, ebu niambie, nini ilifanyika? What happened? Kuliendaje? Who did what? Talk to me. Are you in good terms with your siblings, your brothers and sisters? 20316, SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786316316. I don't know whether my brothers and sisters are watching. Maybe I can unleash some things. No, I will not unleash some things. Keinama. questions, thoughts coming in. Caroline Auma, how are you doing today? You say, this is a good topic. I'm the third born, but my two sisters left every chore for me. And I could be beaten if you don't do all of them. I was miserable, and this made me hate my childhood. I wanted to run away. My mother beat me if the work was not done. We need to learn this for sure. Hey, I hope you patched up things with your sisters. Caroline, thank you for sharing. This one says, I do face sibling rivalry. Mine is pure jealousy in my quest to succeed. Oh my goodness. Hawataki usonge mbele, wanakuonea wivu. My sister has vanished, interacts a lot on the family WhatsApp, but only secretive. No one knows which country, when, and where she and her two teenage children are. What could that be? Na hatujamkosea. That's a hard one. I don't know what you think about that one, Marion. Yeah? She has disappeared. She communicates on the WhatsApp group for the family, but she's very secretive. No one knows where she is. If she is in this country or another country. That's hard.
On to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of the consequences of sibling rivalry or problems that have not been resolved in the family. Especially, it starts from childhood, and now this is the manifestation at adulthood.
Wow.
You know, it's like, that is like a ghost child, you know. Mm-hmm. Sorry to use that word. It's a child who is distant. They can't cope with what happens in the family or how they were treated. So they will disappear. They will keep their distance. It's their way of protecting themselves from all that they have suffered while in the family. Mm-hmm. And I remember you asked the question, so what does a parent do when they are older, you know? It's never too late. So long as a parent has breath, it's never too late to make things right. Yeah. You know, at the point at which the parent realizes there is a problem. So again, intentional family conversations where a parent will call the children, regardless how old they are, they're still children, and have this conversation about what happened, how did it affect you, and get to a place of forgiving each other, you know, and apologizing, even a parent apologizing. Now, the truth is that sibling rivalry usually will happen where abuse is being permitted in the family. They've seen it. Yeah. So, you know, it's like monkey see, monkey do. Mm-hmm. So parents, you know, and parents are also not to blame, if I may say that, because they're also coming from their own background. So these kind of things it's multi-generational transmissions. If they're not arrested in your family, in my family, these children will go and parent the way they were parented. So even in their own families, there'll be sibling rivalry because nobody is talking about it. Nobody is addressing it, you know. Everybody is doing the best they can. So it's never too late to have those family conversations so that you cut the link and not continue treating each other like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to this message by Evelyn. She says, I do face sibling rivalry. Mine is pure jealousy in my quest to succeed. And so I'm just wondering, Beatrice, because I also saw a conversation that was posted online. Two brothers were really having a heated argument because the firstborn was feeling like the lastborn, because sasa ulipata kazi mzuri, wewe ndio unajipendekeza kwa madhe na father. I hear you. In fact, the conversation was saying, I hear you paid mom's hospital bill. Sasa wewe ndio kujipendekeza. Sisi wengine hatuna pesa. And so I'm just wondering, can success or money bring about issues between families? And when this happens, what do you do?
Thank you, Jay. That story was all over the social media, and it's a common occurrence in many families. Jealousy when one succeeds, or, you know, when one, you know, achieves better academic achievement. So this is common. It all boils down again to, you know, how they are treated as a parent. Marion has just talked about the fact that parents should not tire. It's our responsibility to, you know, celebrate individuality, those differences, praise people when they are doing well, and avoiding those comparisons. So everyone in one way or the other can try to assert themselves to get that parental love and attention the best way they know how. But parents need to regulate these situations and make everybody feel that their contribution is valuable, whether it's money, whether it's presence, whether, everybody can contribute to a situation in different ways to avoid that competition. So parents should be able to promote cooperation rather than competition in most of the time. And it's in the little things of, I know you can be there for me, taking care of me when I'm sick. I know so-and-so can be able to chip in while paying some of the hospital bill. I know so-and-so will do this. So that atmosphere of having intentional family conversations, opening that safe space where people can express themselves, their feelings, their frustrations, their anger, and then having that space where now they can resolve these issues and come to a place where they can cooperate in resolving whatever situations they are going on at family level. But having a cooperation as opposed to competition and parents creating that environment is very, very important to do so. So acknowledging what contributions each and everyone is bringing, it might not be money, it could be something else, is quite important. But being intentional in getting everybody on the table to discuss these issues before they escalate. I'm
just wondering, Marion, if left unresolved, can sibling rivalry have psychological effects?
We have seen it. People can get into depression. Whoever is being victimized by the other sibling can get into low esteem, feeling worthless. And some of those, the consequences even of depression sometimes, is the suicides we are seeing around, the killing one another, and it's really severe, very, very severe, because one thing leads to another if it is not addressed. And therefore, the most important thing is, one, acknowledge there's a problem if you're a parent, and don't be silent about it. You need to do something. And if you don't know what to do, then it's important to seek help, for yourself as a parent, for the children also. And you can also sit in family therapy together to learn how to communicate, again, to learn the skills of problem solving. How do we brainstorm together, even as Beatrice was saying, this is the problem. For example, Made or Father is sick. This is a problem we are having as a family. So what can we do about it? What can you afford to do? What can I do? And you may not even afford money, but what can I do? Maybe I can go and stay with a parent and help them a little bit, or send help. So just learning how to problem solve is very, very important, and getting help and acknowledging, things are not good and we need help. There is a lot of help right now. Thank you.
A couple of messages coming through. This one says, thank you for this discussion about sibling rivalry. My family is undergoing such. May God help us. And then another message here says, what if you have a sister but she treats you well, but emotionally she hurts you? What are you supposed to do? She treats you well, but emotionally she's hurting you. I'm trying to put those two together. I don't know if you can say anything about that, Beatrice.
Yes, again, it's about intentionally having those conversations, creating that space with your sister to talk about, I love you as a sister, but sometimes I feel that, you cross certain boundaries. So being deliberate to have that conversation with your sister, to find out how they're feeling, expressing how you're feeling, and getting to that place where you can now resolve whatever it is that has been unspoken for the longest time. I suppose that she has never communicated that, I feel emotionally, abuse. So getting to that space where you can have that deliberate conversation on this is how I feel. I love you, but I think we need to resolve some unspoken issues that have been there between us for a long time.
Yeah. In fact, on this issue, I'm just wondering, Marion, sometimes it may seem like all is well in the family, but, they usually say still waters run deep. There are issues there that you never discuss, but they are there. When the family gets together, you can tell, okay, there's something brooding here. No one was willing to talk about it, but it is there. Because I have a comment here that says, growing up, our parents never sat us down to talk to us about relationships with each other. We get along okay, though I'm just wondering, due to lack of these conversations, could it lead to some of us maybe having unspoken issues? Because I find we tease each other a lot.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People learn how to cope. If we are not going to cope to talk about it, I will decide how I'm going to cope with that. So even some people are very jocular, life of the party, but they're really hurting,
Yes.
And nobody is aware that they are hurting because they are always looking happy all the time so that they can cope when they are in that environment. So it is very important for the person, like the person who texts, the person who feels this way, to get help for him or herself. Because what happens in the family system is if one person gets helped and is able to be better in that relationship, somehow, it will get to other family members. They will realize, okay, this one is different.
Yes.
And if one person becomes different, then the whole system is affected, Yeah, the whole family system is affected and things start improving. And with gentleness and kindness, it is possible for this one person that has received help to try and help the other family members, by even bringing up those conversations. Even if conversations didn't happen at childhood, they can happen in adulthood, but they cannot be forced.
Wow.
Yeah.
This one says, good morning, I'm loving the conversation. We are 4 siblings. I'm the third born. I felt my father loved my siblings more than me because he could buy presents for them and forget me. He died, but I never bonded with my father, but I was my mother's favorite. That is Stella. This is something a lot of people go through. I remember personally in my own life, I'm a middle child. We are 9, and I'm the 6th. And many times I would feel invisible, like I'm not there. Because they have to sort out the firstborns, and then the lastborn wants all the attention. And so sometimes you feel like, hello, I am also part of this family. My mom and my dad are watching. I know they're thinking, what are you talking about? It's something I had to deal with in my teenagehood. I was very quiet in my teenagehood. Sometimes I tell people, I was very quiet, and they think, and you're on radio and TV every day making noise for us and giving us good things. Yes, it's because I had to deal with some things. But one last question before we run out of time. There are those rivalries that happen in a family because of choices people make or because of a difference in values. Huyu ameamua yeye ni mwizi. Everybody in the village knows they are a thief. So I want nothing to do with them, but they are my brother. O huyu anaendaga kwa wachawi na mimi ni Mkristo. Huyu ni mlevi wa kupindukia. He is the one we are called to okota in the mtaro. And he is my brother. I don't want anything to do with him. And so a rivalry builds up because of values and choices we have made in life. How do we deal with that, Marion? Is there hope for such a situation?
There is a lot of hope because Jesus Christ came for everyone. Hata huyo mwizi.
Yes.
Hata the alcoholic. Hata however they turn out, And it's like there is one such person almost in every family that is different. What we need to do is to be able to tolerate each other and be there for each other. However, everybody is responsible for the choices they make, So I cannot be responsible for somebody who decides they want to be a thief or they want to be a drunkard or they want to do this or that is hurting their life. I can only be supportive in whatever way I can because they still have to take the responsibility of wanting to change.
Yeah.
They have to be responsible for wanting to be Christ-like. They have to be responsible for how they want to live their life. So sometimes, especially like when it comes to alcoholism and other addictions, you'll find that one sibling can become the enabler by being too there for the one that is having a problem. And when they become an enabler, providing everything, supporting, caretaker, taking care of that one, making life very easy for that one,
yes,
then that is dependency now. And the sibling is dealing with their own issues that they need to sort out. But what that does to the person who is who is there in addiction or doing whatever they are doing, is then they don't become responsible because they are like, this one will take care of me, you know. So they become dependent on them and they don't become responsible for what they do. You know, they get more and more into maybe their addiction because there's somebody to always bail me out.
Yeah.
So we need to be careful and have a healthy balance in how we support them. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they have to make their choices. Yeah.
Wow. Ladies, imagine my time is up. Time has gone so fast today, but looking at the SMSs that have come in this morning, we have given some people encouragement and pointed them in the right direction. So Marion, thank you so much. Beatrice, asanteni sana. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you for having us. God bless you.
Awesome.
Yeah, God bless you too, and thank you for having us.
Okay.
Bye.
Aya, wazazi mmesikia, hebu iteni watoto pamoja. If you know as a parent your children are not getting along, you are the authority in their life. Hata kama ni wazee na wako na watoto wao, call them and be the Kofi Annan in the family. Bring your family together. Let's find forgiveness and let's build together as a family. That's all the time we have for Parenting Tuesday today. Let's hope that next week, God willing, we'll have another interesting topic for us to learn more. God bless you.
This and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.